The Lockheed D-21 is more than just a Mini-SR-71 Blackbird. For more than a century now, the term military drone has been used to refer to unmanned aerial vehicles, or UAVs. This term of military drones is referred to something that exists in present times or will be there in the future, but in reality these drones actually have a much longer history, stretching back over a century. The first generation drones were essentially radio-controlled target aircraft that flew during World War I. Since then, technology has progressed significantly, and now we have all types of different drones. The drone designed to spy on China. Meet the D-21. During the Cold War, Lockheed built a supersonic surveillance drone that could be shot from a carrier aircraft like the A-12 spy plane, which was capable of Mach 3+ speeds and was a remotely piloted aircraft, or RPA. The D-21 was designed for surveillance missions over countries with dangerous technologies by the Central Intelligence Agency and the United States Air Force. With its angular body design, the D-21 is an A-12 family aircraft developed by Lockheed's Skunk Works. The D-21 was the smallest of the program's aircraft, measuring only 19 feet in width and 43 feet in length. The launch weight, 11,000 pounds, and the operational height, 95,000 feet. A Marquardt ramjet engine powered the D-21 rather than the Blackbird's turbojet engines, which were capable of 2,000 mile-per-hour top speeds, that is 3,200 kilometers per hour. The mothership was the M21, a heavily modified two-seat A-12 aircraft from which the daughter ship, or D-21, was launched, which proved to be a deadly combination at first and was expected to be a nightmare for the enemies. The D-21's first real drone deployment test didn't take place until March of 1966. The D-21 and M-21 were both destroyed when the D-21 encountered engine issues and collided with the M-21's tail after separation during a test flight. After the other two members of the crew were forced to eject and crash land in the ocean, only the pilot, Bill Park, was able to escape unharmed. The commanding officer of the launch, Officer Ray Torek, was killed in the water. Kelly Johnson, the Skunk Works leader, believes that the D-21 could be launched from a B-52 bomber. Later, D-21B models utilized a large solid propellant booster rocket for launch and to obtain the necessary speed for engine activation. Technical specifications. The engine this drone has is one Marquardt RJ-43 ramjet of 12,000 pounds of thrust. The maximum speed through which it can travel is 2,000 plus miles per hour, that is Mach 3+, and the total range it has is 3,000 miles, making it one of the most deadly drones ever. Why was the mission unsuccessful? Under the codename Senior Bowl, the D-21 flew 4 missions over Communist China beginning January 1967. The D-21 drone returned to international airspace after each scouting mission and ejected the film package, which had its own parachute. Whether the drone was retrieved by a ship at sea or an airplane in mid-flight, that package was located somewhere in between. It self-destructed once the film package was thrown out of the way. In terms of efficiency and cost, it was a poor choice. The failure rate of the missions was far worse for the American taxpayer. Because of this, the U.S. Air Force decided to end the program in 1971 and store the last of the 38 aircraft that were built. Surviving aircrafts. Davis-Monthan Air Force Base, Tucson, Arizona. Blackbird Air Park, Palmdale, California. Evergreen Aviation Museum, McMinnville, Oregon. Grissom Air Reserve Base in Peru, Indiana. And Marchfield Air Museum in Riverside are museums and bases which now have the only remaining D-21Bs in the United States. At Robbins Air Force Base, Georgia's Museum of Aviation, you'll find the lone remaining D-21B in the United States. Davis-Monthan Air Force Base is home to the AMARC. The Museum of Flight in Seattle features a D-21 mounted on top of a real M-21 as an additional bonus. The wreckage of a 12th D-21 is presently on display at the Chinese Aviation Museum in Beijing, which is the justification for its failure. Some past history. In the height of the Cold War, the Lockheed D-21 strategic surveillance drone was developed, which had a large number of SR-71 Blackbird-derived technological improvements. D-21s acquired with the RJ-43 MA-20S-4 ramjet can carry a single high-resolution camera and return safely from altitudes of more than 90,000 feet above hostile territory. As tensions rose following the Soviets' loss of a nuclear submarine in 1960, the United States sought an alternative to manned surveillance flights over its technologically superior enemies. By 1962, the Lockheed Skunk Works team that designed the SR-71 believed the D-21 was the solution to their difficulty. The D-21, formerly known as the Q-21, used cutting-edge design techniques to reduce its radar cross-section in order to evade detection by Soviet surveillance networks. As long as it flew following a predetermined path into foreign airspace, it might escape danger. By ejecting the electronics module that contained the camera and other photo and navigational tools, after its mission was completed, it was programmed to self-destruct. The experimental combination of the D-21 with a modified two-seat version of the A-12, known as the M-21, D meaning daughter and M mother, that flew in late December 1964 as part of the Tag Board program. You might ask the question, when did the first successful in-flight launch happen? Well, it wasn't until March 1966. The drones failed to separate on the second and third trips due to hydraulic failures. Electronic modules failed to detach on both trips. The M21-D21 combo launch protocols were a source of concern for Lockheed's Kelly Johnson, but tests continued despite what appeared to be minor problems. The D-21 engine failed shortly after separation, causing the drone to crash into the right wing of the mothership on the Pacific Test Range on July 30th, 1966. In this case, it was the fourth drone experiment. During a dramatic pitch-up at speeds more than Mach 3, the M21's forward portion, which housed the crew, was completely destroyed. 2 people were ejected, but the launch control operator, or LCO, was badly injured and drowned before rescue vessels arrived. Additional attachments for linking the D-21B to the B-52H bombers were installed in order to ensure a more secure launch for the unmanned drone. The Senior Bowl program, despite being significantly more secure, had its share of issues, but regardless, unmanned aerial vehicles, or UAVs, will continue to be popular among military spies. Before September 11, 2001, the CIA began using drones for surveillance in Afghanistan, but the agency didn't begin using them as weapons until after the terrorist attacks. Weaponized drones have created a previously unseen conflict between intimacy and disconnection. While assassination, which in certain settings is referred to as an assault, is the most intimate kind of violence, Human Rights Watch Director John Sifton says, in the nation, we also have the least intimate of weapons. Nowadays, military drones have expanded into an evolutionary tree, with the largest being Reaper and Predator, followed by smaller micro drones, and who knows, maybe even updated overnight for special tasks. The D-21's raw speed will never be duplicated even if the military has more sophisticated technologies. The D-21 cannot be matched even now when we have very deadly and powerful drones. That's all for today, guys. If you liked this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon for any new updates. See you in the next one.